Elaine here from the Smart Train, your partner in learning. Welcome to the Smart Train Smartcasts, simple tools for maximum impact. In this video we're going to very quickly look at dealing with objects in Microsoft Word. We'll look at adding an object into a document and look at the default settings for the different objects within the text of a document, how that object behaves within text, and also a very quick look at logos in headers and footers. So let's have a look at a document. Here we have a simple document with some text, and I want to insert an image between the first paragraph and second paragraph of text. Bear in mind, when you're inserting an image, the image will insert itself wherever the cursor is. So I need to place my cursor at the end of the first paragraph of text if I want the image to appear after that paragraph. I simply use the Insert tab on the top, and in the Insert ribbon in the Illustrations group I select Picture. I'm going to insert the teddy image here, so I double click it, and it inserts itself into the document amongst the text exactly where I had the cursor. So in terms of the defaults with this image, different objects are dealt with in different ways in Microsoft Word. An object could consist of a picture, as in an image, an auto shape that you draw yourself, a chart that comes from data, a table, or indeed a smart art. So we're going to look at some very easy ways to deal with those annoying situations when your images and objects begin to misbehave in your document. When you insert an image into a document, it is basically treated like a word of text. Therefore, it inserts itself wherever the cursor has been located. Now, if I try and click and drag this particular image, you can see that if I drag it amongst words within the text, it will upset the view of my document, which means I have very little control over the image, and it affects the way that my text is situated as well. This is simply because the default setting for an image in Word 2010 is to do with the Wrap Text option. If I go up to my ribbon here, I can see the Wrap Text, and the default setting here is Inline with Text. This is actually very handy when you're inserting tiny images between letters or words in a sentence. However, it's not so appropriate when you have a larger image and you want more control over that image. So you can see the various settings in the options here, and looking very quickly at the different options, we can look at square, which means that the text is wrapped around the image in a squarely fashion or rectangular fashion. This means the text will wrap itself around the outer regions of the image itself. Tight, as you can see, will bring the text in tighter around the object. Because we're dealing here with a more rectangular object, tight and square can very often seem similar. You will clearly see the difference between these two when we work with a more unusual shape in a moment. The through option here, as you can see, does not have much difference because of the default settings with an image. Through is more appropriate for different objects in your document. Top and bottom can be very handy because it simply does not allow text to be on the left or right of the image. Text will appear above and below the image only. Behind text is a little more complicated because it's like there's a white background behind the text and the image is behind that again. So indeed we can't see the image at all, even though it is there. In front of text floats the image on top of or in front of the text, which essentially gives you complete control over the image. So let's try that. I'm going to click that. And you can see now if I move my image, I can actually move it anywhere in the document, and that includes outside of the margin areas and indeed off the edge of the document itself. This is the preferred option if you want complete control over your image. Now I'm just going to quickly delete this image and work with an auto shape. So deleting the image, I go to my Insert ribbon again, and this time I select Shapes, and I'm just going to draw a cross. Now when we come into our document, you can see that my pointer has changed to a cross, and when drawing the object it's good to start at the top left and work your way down to the bottom right, or indeed any other corner, and work your way down diagonally or up diagonally. So I'm just going to drop the cursor there when I have the shape that I want, and you can see with an auto shape it actually puts itself on top of the text, so the default setting for this is in front of text. Now with my auto shape selected, you can see that I have a contextual tab called Drawing Tools and the Format ribbon. And in the Format ribbon I look at my Wrap Text option, and you can see that the default is in front of text, and that means the auto shape is floating on top of the text. However, if I want to wrap the text around, we can wrap it around squarely, and square means around the outer edges of the auto shape, which is always a rectangular shape. And the difference between that and tight is that the tight option allows the text to come within the outer border regions of the auto shape and tightens itself in around the actual shape of the auto shape. Now I can further refine this by using the wrap text again, and this time using the edit wrap points. So by clicking that, you can see the wrap points that have been set as defaults around this particular auto shape. I can pull my text in tighter by realigning my little edit points, and this will allow more text to set itself in neatly against the auto shape. Bear in mind though, if you go in too far, that the text will end up encroaching into your image as well, or indeed into your auto shape as well. So we bring that back out there again, and that's how you have complete control over the objects that you insert into your document, whether they're an image or an auto shape, or indeed a chart or a smart art of some kind. Now let's look at the header and footer. I'm going to insert a logo into my header. I'm going to quickly delete this image here and work with the header area. I double click into the header to quickly get in there, and that will bring up the contextual tab, header and footer tools, with my design ribbon. Now I'm going to insert my page number, and top of page I'm going to use the center aligned version, and that inserts the actual page numbering system. I'm just going to type in the word page and space and click after the 1, because now I want to insert a logo. So essentially this will read page 1, page 2, etc. on the different pages. Now to insert my logo, I go to the Insert tab, I go to Picture, I find my logo and I insert it there. Now you can see that it has been inserted in its full size, so I simply resize it to the size that I want, but because it's an image you can see that the wrap text option in the Format ribbon of the Picture Tools tab has been set to inline with text, which is the default setting for your image. However, when it's in line with text, you'll find that you've very little control over the image, and it will affect where your page numbering appears in the header. I want my page numbering to be centered in the header, and you can see clearly it is not. It's a whole thing is being centered, as if it's one sentence of text. So for my image, I need to set it in front of text. By setting it in front of text, this basically floats the image, and you can see here that it's behind the text in the main document because the image is actually in the header. So pulling it back up to the header, I can position it anywhere I wish, and that would be also outside of the margin areas. Bear in mind that your printer will have its own margins, and if it's too close to the edge it may not print. So I'll pull it down there a small bit. So coming out of my header, I just double click into my document and you can see our logo there and our page numbering system. I'm going to simply insert a page break here in front of my heading about our videos and workshops using Control and Enter, and you can see that that inserts a page break, and we now have page 2 and the logo on page 2 also. We go back up to page 1 and you can see that we have the page numbering system and the logo as well. So that's dealing with images and logos within the header or indeed the footer of your document. So there you have it, a quick video on working with objects inside a Word document. We looked specifically at images and auto shapes, and indeed looking at images within headers and footers, be it logos or whatever. Check out further free smartcasts on our website, thesmarttrain.com, and don't forget to connect with us on Twitter and Facebook at The Smart Train. If you wish to arrange on-site training for your organisation, please go to the main website smartsolutions.ie. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time with our great free smartcasts.